All right, let's get to the bad news. The late John Facenda, the voice of the NFL, for those of you young guys that didn't watch NFL films, this was his time of year. A cold game in Green Bay. It was like 20 degrees outside tonight, and it was like 20 degrees outside Saturday. When the Ravens won the AFC North for the 8th time in the second consecutive year. Not combative here, not a contest here at all. 35-10 over the Brownies in this one. Browns going home. They're going to go ahead and get the 3rd pick in the draft. I think it's the 3rd pick for them this year. So Ravens going to the playoffs again, winning the AFC North. The MVP, possibly, of the National Football League, Lamar Jackson. Again, 16 for 32, 217 passing, 2 TDs. I don't know if he's going to win it. Give him the MVP chant there. I don't know if he's going to win MVP, but certainly he's had an MVP season. I got a feeling that they're going to give it to Josh Allen. But I think Lamar, sensational by every metric. Only 4 interceptions all year long, protecting the ball, even on the rushes, fewer fumbles, terrific. Derrick Henry, I was more skeptical than a lot of people been with the Derrick Henry signing, but I think this has far exceeded my expectations, even the high expectations I had. Let's give him. I think Offensive Player of the Year is definitely in the vote, should be getting some votes. MVP certainly should be getting some votes. I don't think he'll win it either, but certainly 20 for 138, 2 TDs. Whenever he gets 20 carries, Ravens are in the win column all season. I think they haven't lost a game. They've won 11. They won 12 games. All 12, Derrick Henry has all 12 where Derrick Henry's got 20 plus carries. They've won 138, 2 TDs. Does not seem to be slowing down. Definitely, you have backups. Justice Hill, hopefully you can get him back for the playoff game. Keaton Mitchell, solid again. Clicking on all cylinders on the ground game as well. Little concern here. Rashard Bateman, 5 receptions, 76 yards, 1 TD. Very good from Bateman. Zay Flowers has been missing practice all week. Went out in this game with a knee injury. Maybe they're just taking extra precaution, whatever. I don't know if we're going to have that as well. Maybe I think it's enough, though, for this one game to go ahead and win when you have Rashard Bateman there as well. So you may not have Zay Flowers here. Shout out to Dafiowe getting his 10th sack in this one as well. Kyle Van Noy goes ahead and gets 12 and a half sacks. Dafiowe, good work by Dafiowe this year. I think overall, getting that double-digit sack total is big. Not a lot of sacks as many in the league this year. So the Ravens, to everybody's surprise, all the concern about the pass rush, you had 2 guys with double-digit sacks. You had Kyle Van Noy with, I think it was 12 and a half, and Dafiowe with 10 sacks. So good stuff by those guys. Bailey Zappi, yeah. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, Dink Dunk, not an NFL quarterback, backup quarterback. I think probably he was playing so they wouldn't win these games. 2 picks, one by Michael Pierce, one by Nate Wiggins as well. So not a lot to say here. I mean, they definitely got to get a quarterback in there. Deontay Foreman, not even their starter. I think they rested Jerome Ford. They rested Pierre Strong in the last game. They didn't play. 10 for 27. Ravens defense finished much better at the finish. This was the guy that was playing actually football for them. Jerry Jeudy had a breakout season. Look, after the criticism he got from Steve Smith, called a jag just a guy, 6 receptions, 63 yards, outstanding by Jerry Jeudy in this one here. Myles Garrett didn't get a sack, had 2 tackles. Possibility he's played his last game with the Browns. Definitely wants to play for a contender. He's 30 years old, wants to see the possibility of him going to another team. Definitely some Ravens were already doing, fans were doing recruiting of Garrett. Of course they were. So we will see what the future holds for Myles Garrett. So not going to go too XO there. This was a smash. Browns didn't care. Ravens needed to win it to actually win the division, get the home game this week. That was important. 35-10. Closer early maybe than you thought. Took a little while to get the motor running, but this was never in doubt. Ravens defense, I do want to say, finished in the top 10 in the NFL. Finished 10th in the NFL as far as defense. That's a big deal considering how bad the pass defense was. Finished number 1 in rush offense. So at the end of the year, defense really showed up. Only gave up 2 points last week. Only gave up 10 points this week. Only gave up down the stretch, really adding to the offense as well. 2 consecutive blowouts here at the end of the season. Now the real season begins. Let's beat the Squealers here. And we got a playoff game in M&T Bank Stadium. Amazon Prime is where you're going to see it. If you don't have a ticket in downtown Baltimore, the 10-7 Pittsburgh Steelers against the Ravens 12-5. The 2 best franchises, 2 of the best well-run franchises, I think, in the National Football League. 2 of the better coaches, I think, in the history of the NFL. And probably, I think, still the best rivalry in the NFL, meeting in the wild card round to decide who gets to go to the next round of the playoffs as well here. Lamar, I think, sensational. He may not win MVP, but look at those numbers, man. I mean, 4,000 yards, 4,020, 41-27 passing, 41 TDs to 4 interceptions, over 900 yards rushing this season. First quarterback in the NFL history to ever get 4,000 yards passing and 900 yards rushing. You run out of superlatives. I think he got even better than he's been. That's saying a lot for a guy who's been a 2-time MVP, had a lot to overcome, issues on the offensive line, issues, I think, integrating Derrick Henry. I think defense struggled. Look, fantastic by Lamar. Definitely MVP worthy. This guy's just about MVP worthy. He didn't quite get 2,000 yards, but Derrick Henry, 325, 1927 as far as rushing the football throughout the year. 16 touchdowns. That's a lot. Automatic in the red zone. Anytime he got carries, he was productive. I think he was fantastic. I think they were also too smart enough to let him be the bell cow. John Harbaugh, soon out throughout the years, doesn't like bell cow. In, out, in, out. Hey, look, I got Derrick Henry. I need to let him do his thing. Whenever they did, it was successful. Almost 2,000 yards from Derrick Henry, from a guy that you got for, you're paying, people don't understand. You're paying Justin Tucker more than you're paying Derrick Henry. You're paying Marcus Williams more than you're paying Derrick Henry. Look at all the production you got from a guy that they didn't want. Mark Andrews down the stretch was terrific as well. 55 receptions, 673, 11 TDs. Andrews, I think, was terrific down the stretch. I think he kind of sacrificed himself. He still showed, though, he still has it, especially in the red zone. Him and Lamar have a fantastic kinship. They're going to need it. They may not have Zay Flowers on this one. We don't know yet. He's missed practice again 2 days in a row. So they're going to need Mark Andrews. Andrews has been fantastic down the stretch. Fantastic. I think definitely not done yet. Mark Andrews, I think probably really on his way to being the greatest tight end in Baltimore Ravens history. Roquan is kind of maybe not as good this year, but that's a lot of tackles. 154 for Roquan. And to be fair, Patrick Queen was gone. And you can say whatever you want about Patrick Queen. Trent Simpson struggled. Malik Harrison was in there. You had different guys in there. So they had to rely on him a lot more. And 154 as far as tackles is a very productive year for him. A little bit more away from the line of scrimmage. I don't know if he got everything he wanted. Seeing more leadership from him as well, too. So I was really impressed overall. I think more, maybe not the super dominant, but it was outstanding stuff. Definitely the best, certainly still the best inside linebacker in the NFL. If he's not 2 or 3, maybe you put Fred Warner, etc. But outstanding from him. Sierra's husband, Russell Wilson. Russell struggled down the stretch. I think Russell was a good start for them. Go ahead, say hi. You want to say hi? That's her. You don't have to. Daughters interrupt videos. That's happened. Anyway, 242, 224, 82, 16 TDs and 5 interceptions for Russell this year. Russell, terrific. Earlier in the year, terrific. Good start for them. Down the stretch, struggled. I think Russell really is kind of what he is at this point. He's a better option than Justin Fields. He's a better option than Kenny Pickett that they had. But this is kind of what you're getting. Hurricane's making a good point. Maybe he's because he's getting older, he's kind of struggling down the stretch, maybe. But I think I think he's as advertised. That's why I'm not so hard on Russell here. But they're definitely going to need more of a vintage Russell Wilson performance if you're going to beat the Ravens as well. Najee Harris, I really wore out Najee, man, this year. Good, solid in between the tackles runner. I'll leave it right there. Definitely the Ravens. You talk about Roquan Smith being valuable. The good defensive tackles that the Ravens have inside the interior guys are going to need to get work as well. Jalen Warren is a good backup running back for them. I think he's a great change of pace. Kind of reminds me of the best days of Zeke Elliott and Tony Pollard. I think that's kind of what you got there. So, but I think the run game is very pedestrian. I think they need more, considering you don't have a great quarterback. What in the heck is going on with George Pickens? I don't know exactly what happened last week in the game where he opted out or got upset or whatever it is. I don't know. I know they need him. They don't have a lot on offense. It's pedestrian. This is your dynamic playmaker, George Pickens, on offense. George Pickens, 900 yards, 3 touchdowns this year. Phenomenal at catching the deep ball. I think that's why Russell's in the game. This is your best deep ball catcher. I don't know exactly what the deal is going to be for him for the playoff game. It's interesting. TJ Watt, not quite as good this year. Clearly the best defensive player, though. I mean, I think definitely it does seem to be having an effect on him more this year, the triple teams and the double, because he gets triple team like every play. But he's having trouble beating these triple teams. But he was fantastic, I think, all year. You could argue he's still kind of like Roquan. Stats not out of the world, like the 17, 18, 19 sacks, but definitely still an outstanding player. It's definitely a guy you need to reckon with. Ravens still have had trouble, Lamar, taking the edge with these outstanding edge rushers, TJ Watt and Highsmith on there. Preston Smith is still there. Patrick Queen. So they're very disciplined, stay in the lanes. Mike Tomlin learned under the great Tony Dungy. His defense is very simple, play with discipline. And we will see how that goes. X factor. Who are we going to X in this one? The X. Rashad Bateman. You're probably not going to have Zay Flowers, although that's not official yet. So Bateman's going to have to step up. We know what we're going to get pretty much, I think, from Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely. The wide receiver production has to come from Bateman, and he was good in the last game. Now, that wasn't nearly as good a team that they're going to see on Saturday, rather. But you're going to have to see more from Rashad Bateman in this one as well. Let's X the guy with the interception taking the knee, Michael Pierce. I've had Michael Pierce bench for Tyrus Jones for 2 years. He's been terrific. Outstanding stuff this year by Michael Pierce. Michael Pierce definitely, look, nobody likes a big guy, right? Everybody likes a guy. Michael Pierce has got to be 360-something pounds. Huge guy. Not going to run in the middle. Definitely with Najee Harris there, Steelers are definitely going to try and establish the run. Russell Wilson there, running quarterback, they're definitely going to try and establish the run. They're going to need a good performance from Pierce at the nose tackle, Travis Jones, Matt Abuke, etc. as well. That's going to be the key to actually beating the Steelers. I think we beat the Steelers. I think the Steelers offense, I've been saying this, is pedestrian. Not really capable of really explosive. I think the Ravens do get some scores early. They can horse race them. They definitely can. Number one offense in the NFL that the Ravens have. Steelers are very middle of the pack in terms of their offense. Their defense is good, not great. And I'm not disparaging that. I think they're pretty good, really good, but not elite. Not enough to carry this offense. They're kind of in the middle in too many areas. It's kind of reflected in their record. Good coaching, good discipline, got them in the playoffs, got them a lot of early wins. They're going to get eliminated. Ravens, I think, win 28-14 over the Squealers. There you go. All right. The real season begins, Raven fans. Are you guys ready to go ahead and eliminate the Steelers on Saturday night? Keep in mind, Amazon Prime is where the game is. Okay. So I don't ever remember watching a game on Amazon Prime. In the playoffs at least. I don't remember one. So interesting to see that as well. Al Michaels, the great Al Michaels, 80 years old now, if you can believe that, and Herbie are going to be on the call of the game as well. Herbie, I said Herbie, Kurt Herbie. That's the correct way to actually say his name.